Reppin' Philly ain't a choice, it's a way of life. PhillyGoat.com is your one stop shop for Philly pride. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off. Look fresh, stay Philly, Philly Goat. Go Birds. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Brotherly Birds breakdown for Week 16, the Washington Commanders. We are the Montgomery brothers. I am Jim.
I'm Kyle, and they will always be the Redskins.
They will. But before we get into that, finally, I feel like a big weight has been lifted off of our shoulders. And I think I can probably speak for you on this one. We'll preface everything we're about to say for the next probably 30, 35 minutes with, yes, it was the Las Vegas Raiders, essentially a JV team. I get that. So we'll throw that disclaimer out here now so we don't have to hear people say, oh, but it was the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, they're still NFL players. They're still an NFL team. And, you know, the Eagles have to play who's on their schedule, and that's just how it worked out. So they had to play them. And look, it is the Raiders. So it didn't look like they completely gave up on defense, but offensively they were just horrible. And I'm not taking anything away from our defense, but they were horrible. You know, and it's a shame. When we talked about it before the game, going into it with Genti, with Marty Jannetty, Marty Genti, and just the waste of a year for him. It's a damn shame. But you know, Pete Carroll is the guy. You know, and they're going to turn it around at some point. They're going to be a playoff team. It's just a matter of when. Obviously, not this year.
Right.
You know, and it's just. The Eagles did what they had to do. They beat a bad team, and they manhandled that bad team, and they did exactly what a good team should do against a team like that. And they didn't even give them a breath of air at any point. They just had to pedal down the whole game, and it was kind of telling the fact that our backup offense gained more yards than the Raiders starters.
First team.
Yeah.
But to your point, if that would have been a close game, all we would have heard this week was, oh, the offense is still broken. The Eagles aren't going anywhere. They came out, did exactly what they should have done against that team. And I guess let's start with the defense, as we always start with the offense. I thought that was just a continuation of what they were doing in the Chargers game. The defensive line was outstanding. The fact that Brandon Graham is 36, 37 years old, has been playing, coming off that injury from the Super Bowl last year, really no training camp, playing defensive tackle and gets 2 sacks. That's just like they're feeding off of each other. I thought that the linebackers played well. I thought once again, Adoree Jackson, again, we know the disclaimer here, but had another good game. Q is just, I saw some of the Pro Bowl voting. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous that he is not running away with the cornerback 1 spot for the NFC in the Pro Bowl. But I think from top to bottom to a man, that entire defense came out. And I thought they could have very easily let their foot off the gas. But I think they legitimately wanted that shutout and continued to play hard for the entire time.
Absolutely. I mean, look, you brought up BG. The preseason's over for him now. He came back 4 weeks ago, and he's played in 4 games, and here we are, right? So, like, he got his 4 weeks of training camp / preseason games under his belt, and now he's ready to go. So I was encouraged, and again, you know, we already said it's the Raiders, but I was encouraged to see what he was able to do in that short amount of time. He didn't play a ton of snaps on Sunday.
He didn't have to.
He didn't have to. The ones that he did play in, they were meaningful. So I agree with you. I think everybody was feeding off of each other. The defense has been consistent over the last 5 weeks. Um, we can go back to the Dallas game, and yeah, they gave up a 21-point lead, but they were on the field for
Oh,
75%
they
of
were
that second
tired.
half. Right. So, you take that into consideration, any defense is going to be gassed. So, they've played well. I think they're top 3, maybe even the top defense in scoring, like points against in scoring defense in the last like 6 weeks, something like that. So, you know, they're clicking at the right time and they're finding their groove. And to your point, man, that secondary is looking pretty dangerous. It's looking pretty lethal back there. I did look. I will say this: the Raiders got a first down, and then they subsequently got a second first down because of Coop's personal foul call. Um, and then that was it. That was absolutely it. So I don't
Yeah.
know if that's what they needed to wake them up and kick them in the ass a little bit, but whatever it was, if that was the case, it worked. They all picked each other up after that, and they kind of proved that I don't care who you are, you're not going to push us around. And
Well,
Tyler Lockett flopped, but it is what it is.
he did. But I mean, he's a veteran. But to your point, I like the fact that Coop fought back. I think he has to be careful with that, and I think he is smart enough to know that if that was a tie game in the fourth quarter, you don't do that. But first quarter, take the penalty. And you're right; they were fired up after that. But I think it sent a message that I watched the replay of it, and 100% they were Lockett was just trying to get under his skin. Bad team trying to spark any way possible, and it had the opposite effect. I think the defense rallied around it and said, "No, you're the Las Vegas Raiders. You're not pushing us around."
That's exactly what it was. And it's amazing how good the defense can play when the offense doesn't go 3 and out every other drive, when they're not
Yes,
constantly back on the field. So when the offense can sustain drives for, at least a few minutes, it gives them that little bit of a breather and they come back out and they have fresh legs. So it is amazing to see, like what we pretty much said all year. If the defense doesn't have to be on the field for 60% of the plays, it they can play well. They're still a very good defense. And honestly, I'm gonna say it. I mean, I think that this defense, the way that they're playing, has the potential to carry this team in the playoffs, and they have the potential to be better than they were last year. You
which
know,
is not something we thought coming in. We thought the defense was going to take a step back and it was going to be on the offense, but Vic has these guys playing, man. As far as I'm concerned, that's a championship level defense they have right there. And the rest of the season, how far they go is going to be dependent on whether or not the offense can keep them off the field, sustain some drives, and move the ball. Which that first drive was an absolute thing of beauty to start the
clinic.
game off that way and set the tone immediately. And to me, I it was more the execution that we've heard all year. Nobody's executing. They execute it. They were making that one block that they were just one block away.
Hmm.
They were running the right pass routes. They were doing the little things, the tough detail together that Sirianni preaches. They did it perfectly on that first drive.
They did, and they got creative with it. The thing that I was very encouraged about was the fact that they took this game as hey, we're going to try this stuff out, and if it works, great, and we're going to continue to do it. 30 plays. They ran 30 plays under center. So that's more plays under center than they have ever run in any game during Sirianni's tenure as head coach. So obviously, whether they wanted to tune out the noise and tune out everything from the outside, they're listening in some capacity and they realize that they're very successful when they run it under center because it opens up the playbook tremendously. You and I said in the stands when, they lined up in shotgun, up, Saquon's to the
There it
right.
goes.
It's right up the middle. Here we go. And sure enough, it was right up the middle. So, like, again, defenses know that stuff. Even the Raiders defense knew that stuff. Um, and if you look at the stats from the rushing attack, it doesn't look good at the end of the day after the fact, but they were just running the ball because they were up 31 to nothing. So I think
Right.
they only ended
And
up it was like 3.8 yards a carry or something like that, but they ran the ball 48 times because they were winning so much that they just drew
and
the
at that point,
clock
the
away.
Raiders knew they're running every time. Like, they're not passing.
Correct, correct. They're not gonna pass when they're up 31 nothing. There is a little bit of a unwritten rule there, right? And that's why it ended up being the second fastest game in NFL history. Because they just kept running the ball. Nobody called timeouts. It was just the clock bled the whole time, man. It was a thing of beauty. And I'm not over the moon and doing cartwheels over it because again, it was the Raiders, but it was a good getting back on track and get right game. We always say this in baseball terms whenever you have a guy that's going through a slump and he faces that fifth starter, it's a slump buster, right? That's exactly what it is.
Yep.
It's called a slump buster. And that's what the Raiders were for the Eagles. It was a slump buster. They did what they were supposed to do. It got them playing better, and hopefully it's a continuation of that.
No, I agree. And then can we finally put to bed the 2023 comparisons? Because if you think back to 2023, right around this time of the season, there was a game just like this against a team that was widely considered one of the top 3 worst teams in the league, and they put up 30 points and beat us. So,
Hmm.
hopefully we can put to bed the 2023. This team obviously learned from that. It's a different mental makeup. The defense obviously is different. So, I mean, I'm like, again, I'm not doing backflips either, but I'm encouraged by what I saw because there were design quarterback runs. There were runs off tackle. They used the middle of the field. They were mixing it up. I saw more guys in motion than I've seen in a long time, as well, which blew my mind. We had a couple Tank Bigsby sightings, which
Hmm.
before they pulled the starters. So hopefully they can take those positives and transfer that moving forward for the next 3 games and then into the postseason. Then,
Yeah, I mean, the one of the biggest things that stood out to me was their third down efficiency. 10 of 13 on third downs, and they only punted the ball once. And your third down efficiency is set up by what you do on first and second down. So putting yourself in third and 5 or less allows you to get a lot more of those third down conversions. So it's amazing what happens when you don't play behind the sticks. So lining up under center helps you not false start. It helps you not do those dumb things because everybody has to be in that, and Jalen's at the line of scrimmage, so he sees everybody and makes sure that they're set before he snaps the ball, right? So hopefully this continues, right? And they continue. I don't expect to see 30 plays under center every game, but
no,
again, like what we talked about last week, now this stuff's on tape. Now this stuff with the different formations is on tape. So defenses have to go, oh man, now they're under center. They might do this or they might still do this. So now we have to play for 18 different plays instead of just the 3,
2.
right? Up
Yeah.
the middle, up the middle, up the middle. Screen up, it's going to Shipley on a wheel route. Like it's so I will say, not taking anything away from them. This isn't all, bad. But Jalen still has to be better. I mean, yeah, he threw a couple incomplete passes, but those incomplete passes, like that first pass that he did to Saquon, you and I looked at each other, and I was like, he held onto that ball 2 seconds too long if he's going to hit Saquon in the flat. He had Saquon wide open,
And
but he had him wide open 2 seconds sooner. That it could have been a better pass, and it would have been
that was the
easier
one
for
he threw
Saquon.
behind him though too, right? That he was
Correct.
because Saquon was already
Yeah, because he
running.
was already halfway done the route. That's what I'm saying. So, like, if he would have threw it to him sooner, it would have been a lot easier on Saquon. They would have completed it and probably would have only got like 3 or 4 yards. But still, the old Andy Reid methodology, a 3 to 4 yard, dump off pass is just
It's as
as
good
good
as
as
a
a three or
run.
4 yard run. Right. So,
No, but I do think, and I know we were talking before that you didn't watch the Hard Knocks yet, but the one of the scenes where they showed Saquon talking to Nick Sirianni, almost verbatim. It's funny that you didn't watch it because it was almost verbatim what you said. He was like, I guess for the last game, he said they were doing some funky stuff. I have to be better and not put us behind the sticks on first down because essentially what it does is opens up the playbook and allows us not to play from behind and become too predictable because if it's 2nd and 13, they know you're not going to run it.
Right.
But it's just funny, like that was almost the exact conversation that he was having with Sirianni at one of the practices last week leading up to the game.
Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense, and I don't. I think they only had like three penalties the whole game, but like you take that in consideration against what did they have against the Cowboys? I think it was like 13 penalties or something like that, and
13
like
or 14, yeah.
8 or 9 of them were offensive, outside of those pass interference calls on defense. So like you take that into consideration, and the fact that like I think I only remember the one penalty that they had on offense on the holding on Steen, right?
Yes.
Um, and that shows you that they all got it. Like I don't know what Sirianni did in the week leading up to it, whether he ripped them a new one, whatever he did worked because they played disciplined football. That's Eagles football that we've grown to understand that they're capable of doing and we've grown to see, right? And that's why it's frustrating as a fan for the last 8 weeks when they don't execute on offense and they do these dumb mistakes because we know what they're capable of doing with this talent, right? So, I think with Lane coming back in the next week or so, I think that's going to be huge for this offense because he's still Lane Johnson. Let's not let's not forget about that. He's still Hall of Famer Lane Johnson that's coming back.
And again, if you would have watched Hard Knocks, Lane Johnson is a beast. Like they showed his
Absolutely.
workouts and what he was doing to get back, and I mean, his feet look disgusting. Just throw that out there. Not that we're turning this into a Rex Ryan show here, but his feet were absolutely disgusting. But they were showing just his workout and like he's still working out. And his trainer's like, give me 60 pull-ups. And for that man to be doing 60 pull-ups when most offensive linemen probably can't even do one, like my arms are ready to fall off thinking about doing a pull-up right now,
60
is
pull-ups.
60 pull-ups. I don't know if he got to 60 and he looked like he was exhausted because they didn't show all 60, but he was like 60 and they showed him starting. And just the man is ripped. And
Mm.
if his body can hold up, I mean, that's gonna be huge coming down the stretch.
Well, and that's the thing, right? A 70% Lane Johnson is better than anything else we have on that offensive line besides
Yes.
Jordan Mailata. So I I think he knows what's coming. He knows that he needs to get his body right for the playoff push, and I think it's going to be a welcomed return to that offensive line because he is a beast and he brings a different element to that offensive line, knowing that he's on the field. To the offense in general, just knowing that he's on the field.
Right. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I think it's a good step in the right direction. And what's the line from Major League when he was like, "Hey, we won a game. It's happened before. If we win one tomorrow, that's two in a row. If we win one
Yeah,
more, it's called a winning streak." I
yeah.
think I want to see them build upon that now because even though they lost that San Diego, the Chargers game, they started trending this way, and you saw them much crisper and doing the things and executing. I want to see that again in a tough environment. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Eagles fans down there, but
Hmm.
it's still divisional game and continue to build on that. And I just think that this is the time. It doesn't matter what you do. You just, as a lot of the ex players always say, you stack up wins early in the season. But this is where in December, you want to start playing your best football to get ready for it. And if you look around the rest of the NFC, the top teams, with the exception of maybe San Francisco, who has the weakest schedule in the league this year, they're not playing great. Seattle didn't look good against
They didn't score a touchdown.
175-year-old Philip Rivers.
They didn't score a touchdown.
The Rams didn't look good.
Nope.
I mean, they look better than the rest of the team comparably. Um, I didn't think the Packers looked all that great.
No, with
So
Micah going down, they're done. They're done. That
yeah,
that that defense is not anywhere near what it's capable of being when Mike is not on the field. So, um, And look, the Bears are the Bears. I mean, the Bears have their record. It is what it is. But the Bears don't exactly have a hard schedule this year either because of
No,
what
well,
they
who did
did
they
last
they
year.
played a
So
terrible team last week too.
yeah,
Whoever it
look.
was, they blew out a team they should have blown out.
You also have to take into consideration the fact that Devontae Adams banged up his hamstring and knee, so we don't know what that looks like. I mean, they're
I
playing
don't
that
think
very
he's
close to the
playing
vest,
tomorrow
but
night.
I don't think he's going to play tomorrow night. He didn't go through the walkthrough yesterday, and I didn't see the injury report today. But like that, a hamstring injury for a receiver in that offense is, Puka Nacua. When he hurt his hamstring, I had him in fantasy. He was out for like 5 weeks. So
We've seen it with AJ. Like
yeah,
we know what
it's just a
happens
nagging
for
injury.
yeah.
Especially like when you're trying to cut, you're trying to do all those things, and Devontae is like one of their deep threats. Like he goes deep, so like he's not going to have that speed. So I'm not saying the Rams they suck without Devontae. They still have an
No.
explosive offense, but
Yeah.
like that brings everybody back down to reality a little bit, and you look at it and you're like, all right, everybody, it's wide open again. I'm not saying that and look, piggybacking on what I said 5 weeks ago, and I caught flack from a bunch of people, but like the NFC is it's wide open. Like there's not a dominant team this year. And I think honestly, it's how Goodell wants it. He wants parity in the NFL, and
Oh,
that's
he
what he got
totally
this
wants
year.
it this way.
And that's what he got. That's what he got. So kudos to him. He got it. Congratulations. We'll see if it lasts. And we'll go from there. But I do like the fact that we're going to see some interesting matchups, it looks like, in the playoffs, you know?
Oh, they all should be good games. I mean, it would not be surprising me in the least if somehow we see Seattle and San Francisco in the NFC Championship game, or
Mhm.
somehow the Eagles get the 3 seed, end up hosting San Francisco for you know what I mean? There's just so many different scenarios. And I
That's
mean,
what it looks like right now. Yeah, that's if the playoffs started today, we would host San Francisco at the Link.
yeah.
So,
So, but and again, like you said, that's not taking anything away. But I would love to see the way the defense is playing right now. I would love to see them play the Rams. I think strength on strength, and like we should see good playoff games all throughout
yeah.
until the Super Bowl. And I
Yeah.
do think as long as they don't beat everybody up, whoever comes out of the NFC should win the Super Bowl this year.
Well, and look, I'm gonna throw it out there, and this is the optimistic point of view as an Eagles fan. The Rams and the Seahawks have to play each other again, and I'm pretty sure that either the Niners play the Rams or the Niners play the Seahawks one more time too in the next 3
Yeah.
weeks. So those teams are going to beat each other up. The Panthers and the Bucks are fighting it out for the NFC South championship. So we'll see what happens there. That NFC North is just clogged up. The Lions aren't even in the playoffs as we speak. So like it's it's a crapshoot to see what's going to happen. And I'm sitting here as an Eagles fan going, if we win Saturday, we clinch the division and pretty much lock up the 3 seed. So what happens then? Like, I'm not saying you bench people and like rest people against Buffalo in the last game of the season, but the AFC game doesn't really mean anything.
Right. And then you can be cautious with guys. If you get a 17-point lead or even a 14-point lead, maybe you do take Jalen out for the fourth quarter. Finally, see what Tanner McKee can do. And I know there was a lot of talk yesterday, I guess, before the official injury report came out and Jalen's press conference about his ankle, that he did seem a little gimpy there near the end, but came
Mhm.
back through the touchdown to AJ. But a lot of talk, and I won't mention any names, but WIP, afternoon show, not Spike or Ike, has a show after their show and flat out said, I would sit Jalen because of the argument was because of the turf, because it's Washington. He thinks Tanner McKee can beat Washington anyway, which who knows? He might be able to. And really, you're looking forward to Buffalo. And I actually disagree on all fronts. I think there's no way you sit Jalen for this game because of how important it is. You can end it all Saturday
Mhm.
before the Cowboys even play. You can clinch the division. It's a t-shirt and hat game. Get it done. Have the extra day to rest for Buffalo because Buffalo, in the big picture, that game means absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. It's an AFC team. And to your point, sit back, let those other teams beat each other up. Then you get right. Maybe you work Lane in and have him play a half just to get some of the conditioning back and everything.
Yep.
And I think this game is the most important game of the season so far to lock up everything. And then you have options at that point. And that's really, as a team, that's all you want is to have options heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they win it. If they win, they win the division, and they lock up. No, they're going to lock up the 3 seed because they will own the tiebreaker over the Bucks.
Yeah.
So that's it, right? I mean, it kind of is what it is at that point. So they have options, and I think that's the way to do it. And look, you brought up WIP. Um, let's just address the elephant in the room with this with these guys. I mean, I heard yeah, I heard somebody call in and criticize them and about the whole benching Jalen Hurts and starting McKee, and then they backtrack and were like, name the person at this station that said that. Like three of you said it. Three of you said it.
I've
There was
heard it.
somebody on the morning, there was somebody on the midday, and there was somebody on the afternoon
It was
show. They
all
all
3 of
said
them
it.
had their poll. All 3 of those
Correct.
polls had the same question yesterday.
Correct. So you put a caller on the spot and make him drop a name, and he didn't want to name drop. So I get it, but like, look, I would have had no issue name dropping. Um, but look, I get very sick and tired of the narratives that they try to play. Like, at some point, can we just be happy that the team won? Besides, like, we're always looking for something, and I say we because it's a collective. Because even as fans, we get a little, angry at times. But like the media in Philly is so relentless with trying to tear down the teams. Like, just stop trying to tear them down, build them up. Like, and then you come back with the half-assed we should give the offense a standing ovation Sunday. You can't do that after you talk so much crap on them,
Right.
and then obviously somebody's putting a bug in your ear, and you're saying, "Oh man, I got to say something. I gotta, you know what? Let's do the standing ovation worked for Trey Turner. Let's stop with it. We're not going to do a standing ovation for everybody that sucked, and then we want them to do good. So this is what we're doing. Just stop with that. And after you talk crap about them, you can't. That's like cheating on your girlfriend and then going, I'm sorry, here's roses. I won't do it again. You're going to do it
Want to get
again.
married?
Right. You're going to do it again because this is what WIP does. This is what they do. They run these false narratives and make something out of nothing. I heard them talking about it today because I was like, we won, so let me turn it. And it still was negative. It was talking about Jalen and Nick Sirianni on the sidelines. And why were they so happy after they threw a touchdown against the Raiders and going up 31 nothing? They were making it obviously they were making it up for Hard Knocks and they knew he was mic'd up. Can we stop? Just stop it. Like, of course they were happy. The offense has played like dog shit for the last 6 weeks. So they finally did something good, no matter who it was against. They finally put a game together and they made plays, they executed, they made good throws, everything. Let them be excited instead of tearing them down. It's ridiculous at this point. Like there's going to be plenty of time where we can sit here and we can rip this team and rip the play call and we can rip all that. After Sunday's game is not that time. And again, they played the Raiders. We all get it. But the team executed like they should. So any radio station in Philadelphia right now, shut your mouth. Just stop. Stop trying to tear them down.
Right.
Look, talk about the exciting Sixers. Talk about the Sixers actually playing competitive basketball like we all hoped they would. Talk about the Flyers surprising everybody and being third in the Metropolitan Division and fourth in the
Trevor
Eastern Conference right
Zegras.
now, right? Or talk about the Phillies not doing much, not doing much, right? But John wants his effing trophy back. Well, you got to open up the wallet a little bit, John, Mr.
Write the
Middleton, if you
check,
will.
buddy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's John. It's
So
John.
yeah, it's John. It's John. I don't know if we ever told that story, but we saw Middleton on the way to a game. I forget what game it was. Was it the Giants game?
It was either the Giants or Detroit. It was one
Yeah,
of those
no,
2.
I think it was the Giants because it was daytime. Yeah, it was daytime.
Yeah, it
So
wasn't a night game. You're right. It was the
yep,
Giants.
yep. So we saw him walking in, and I said, "Hey, Mr. Middleton, how you doing?" It's John. It's John. He's
And then
walking
like
in just
30
like with the
seconds
common folk.
later, I saw it, and he was going the other way, heading to his box, of course. He wasn't heading up
Of
to
course.
200 level.
Yeah.
But, he said I did the same thing. I was like, "Hey, Mr. Miller, it's John." Shook my hand and
Yep.
continued to be with us
Yep.
common
Ushered
people
in.
until he got in the
Yeah.
elevator.
Yep. Yep. So it was good though. But yeah, look, WIP, all you guys, just stop with the narratives. I know you have a job to do and like, but come on, it's especially the afternoon show. Like the host of the afternoon show always talks about how he admires Howard Stern. Howard Stern used to come up with bits on his show to make it creative, make it fun. Do the same thing instead of tearing down your sports teams and trying to cause drama. It's just so
Well, he's
dumb to
got
me. I don't
Tommy down the
understand it.
shore.
Well, yeah, yeah,
He has
that's a good
them.
point. Yeah, so do them more. I mean, at this point, Jesus, it's ridiculous. And Fritz, man, Fritz is I want to say he's a fraud, man. Like doing all
I
that
didn't
stuff.
mention his name, you did. I didn't
I
mention his
did,
name, you
I
did.
did. Well, he's a Chester County boy. He only lives right down to like 20 minutes from me, so I can say it.
He's
I can
Westchester,
say it.
right?
Yeah, he's Westchester. But like, stop with the whole sit Jalen because we want him to be healthy. He's a Jalen hater. He's a known Jalen hater. He hates
Right.
Jalen Hurts.
Well, and then the other thing is you've only been playing semi decent on offense for 2 weeks, and one of those games where the offense looked okay, Jalen turned the ball over 5 times. So let's bench him just as he starts getting some momentum because as Jalen would say, the perception is I have an ankle injury.
Right.
I'm just living, man. I'm just living.
Yep.
Which that was the greatest press conference ever. He called him
Yep.
out. He was like, I'm not. It's perceived.
Yeah.
He was like,
Yeah.
that's
And,
the
and
definition of the word.
correct. Correct. Dude, he's almost, he's a, I don't want to say this in a disrespectful way, but he's like a more intelligent version of Jameis Winston on the podium. Like they're both going to give you quotes. It's just a matter of
Of
one's a
how you
funny
get there.
quote, and yeah, like one's a real funny quote. You look forward to it in that way, and then another one just makes you think, and you look forward to it. You know what I mean?
Well,
But both of
I
them are
think
like
with
can't
Jalen,
miss.
yeah, but I think with Jalen, sometimes he has people thinking, wait a minute, am I not smart enough to understand what you just said?
Right? That's what I mean. That's what I mean. And
Like,
then like the Jameis Winston is like the dumbed down version. You know?
right. Like, I'm sure that reporter was probably like questioning himself, like, wait a minute, what did I even say? What did I ask him?
Right, right. It just makes you question your own existence. And look, just to throw the disclaimer out there, I'm a Jameis Winston guy. He went to Florida State. I'm a Florida State fan. I'm not knocking Jameis Winston in any way, shape, or form. I just wanted to point out that they're both like must see press conferences whenever they get a mic in front of them because
Always.
there's going to be a nugget that comes from either one of them, and it's great to hear, you know. But I agree with you. I thought
Right.
that was a
But
great comment that he made.
it was. He was like, it's perceived.
Yeah, yeah.
But so going back to that though, between WIP and the rest of the media, is it possible that because they're on a Hard Knocks that and this is you put your tinfoil hat on last week. I'm kind of maybe putting one on now and connecting some dots here that maybe they're using this as a way to kind of drive the narrative that, you know what, we do hear what you're saying. We do hear everything that you guys say about us. Sure, whatever you want to say is fine, but it's going to bring us together. So go ahead, rip Jalen for this, rip the coach for that. Talk about AJ, talk about this. Because did you hear Dickerson when they asked the question about
Oh
was
yeah,
it good to see whatever the question was, something along the lines of was it good to see Jalen finally play a good game or whatever? And he was like, well, that's your narrative.
yeah.
And he
You
was
guys
like,
just want to
we know
dog
what
him.
Jalen can do.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Yeah,
So
and look,
maybe this is going to galvanize them and bring them together at the
I like it.
perfect time.
I like it. I like the theory. And like we'd be naive to think that the the radio clips of these guys are not going to show up on Hard Knocks, right? Because that's what they do.
Yeah.
Like we've seen it before with all this stuff, and like maybe there's part of it that that's what they're being asked to do. Maybe it's not their own narrative. Maybe they're being asked to kind of over exaggerate some of these takes to make it better for Hard Knocks. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, but Hard Knocks has only been on for 3 weeks. These takes have been over exaggerated all season.
Well, they've only started talking about him being benched in the last few, you know?
Also true.
So, those like, they've talked about him being mediocre and this and that, but look, he's still having a career year, and he's gonna have 2 wide receivers go over 1,000 yards. He's 3rd in the NFL in total touchdowns, and look, I know that we don't like to throw out the total touchdowns because he's a quarterback, and, if you're watching this, you know exactly who I'm referring to. Uh, you know, childhood friend there, buddy. But, Josh Allen's the same boat. Josh Allen has 12 rushing touchdowns on the year, but nobody cares that it's Josh Allen and he rushes a lot too. Nobody throws that out there. Nobody throws it out
No.
there about Lamar. It's only Jalen Hurts that's a rugby player. He's a running back that can throw. Get out of here with that narrative. Get out of here. It's laughable at this time. It's laughable. Absolutely laughable.
So, but hey, I look at it like this. If it's going to bring them together, keep talking. Keep
Yeah,
with
but
your
yeah, I get that, but then at the same time, that same group of people are gonna take credit for it. Yeah, just like they did for the Trey Turner thing. It's gonna
for
be
the
like,
Trey
well,
Turner thing.
if
That
we
is
hadn't done that, like come on, man. Like, it had nothing to do with you. The players had to go out there and execute. You didn't do anything except talk shit.
yeah. And then say, "Oh, well, this would be a good bit for the radio."
Correct. Correct. That's exactly what I think it is. At least I hope it is because, but at the end of the day, I mean, Spike was in New York for a long time, so maybe he deep down isn't a Philly guy. Maybe he's a New York guy. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
So before we get into next week's picks, there is one other question or one other topic I wanted to talk about. And going back to the offense looking different and some of the different formations and the plays they're running out of there. I don't know if you saw the side by side comparison on Twitter where they showed Scott Loeffler's offense at Bowling Green versus one of the play calls on Sunday.
Yep.
Exact same formation, exact same play. Is that the more however the Eagles worded it that there'll be other people inputting into the offense. Are they allowing him to input more? Has he already been? And if he is, because he was featured pretty prominent on um, Hard Knocks this week too, Loeffler was. So is that something they should continue to do? Because I think 100% it is because I mean, now if that's the narrative that's out there, Washington's going to have to look at Bowling Green play tape now on top of what the Eagles put on tape last week and whatever they have for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be dumb not to, right? You'd be absolutely dumb not to. And look, I for the life of me, I can't figure out why Patullo can't get this passing game working because he was, if I'm not mistaken, before he was promoted to offensive coordinator, he was the
He
passing game
was.
coordinator, right? So
He
like,
was.
I I don't quite understand that, but I guess it's the same thing with Stoutland being an offensive line coach and the run game coordinator, and the offensive line sucks this year, and so does the running. So I don't know. Maybe there's something there. But yeah, I mean, if that's what we're doing with Loeffler and he's actually helping more, and I don't think he's calling the plays, but if he's designing them and helping in
No,
that
but
capacity, let's keep rolling with it, man. Because whatever they did this past week, they executed, right? And
I like
you
that.
could have
Do it
put
again.
you exactly, right? You could have put any defense out there. They still had to make the throws and make the plays, and they did that. So that's what I think is the key that everybody else needs to understand. Yes, it was the Raiders, but yes, the offense executed how the plays were designed, and they scored 31 points. So something's there, right? So if that is what they're doing, to your point, yeah, keep doing that. I like it. Yes, sir. Give me another. That's exactly how I look
Yes.
at it at this point.
No, and like it was bizarre. Like that play call was it was literally the same formation, same play call, ran it the exact same way, and it
Yep.
worked the
Yep.
exact same way. So
It was almost there was like a slight timing of where it was shoveled that was a little
yeah,
different. Other than that, it was like it would almost look like the exact same team running it. Just
yep,
in a different
I'll take
uniform.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, but yeah, like I said, we'll put the asterisk there. It was the Raiders, but more positives. I mean, we took some positives out of the loss to San Diego that Jalen had 5 turnovers with. So it's we'll take it. We'll take it.
Hey, before we
But
turn the page and talk about the Commanders, can we touch on Max Crosby and just I'm gonna start the rumor. He wants to be in Philly. He wanted to be in Philly when there was
oh,
rumors about them trading for him and him signing here, and then his comments about Philly after the game. He wants to be an Eagle. He wants to play in the stadium. He wants to play for the
yep.
city. Whatever Howie has to do to make that happen, let's make that happen because he wants out of
He would
Vegas
be
and he wants
such
to
a
come to
great
Philly.
fit too. He
He
would.
would
I
be
feel like
a more animal version of Chris Long because Chris Long is loved here. He only played here for one and a half seasons or whatever it was, really.
yep.
But like he would be so beloved here because of how he plays and how good he is, but he would embrace it. And every time he's never said one negative word about Philadelphia. Anytime.
He
Whenever he
hasn't.
was linked to them in trades or anything, and then his last interview about it after the game. So let's start the Max Crosby train. Let's start the petition. Let's get him here because he wants to be here. We want him here. He's only going to make this defense better, and he's going to be an Eagle. Max Crosby to the
See,
Eagles in the offseason.
these are the narratives that WIP needs to push. Not bench Jalen, not let's see Tanner McKee. Let's bring Max Crosby in.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
the get on that train.
I saw it. Speaking of that again, I saw ESP put out a thing about the Eagles in the offseason should trade Tanner McKee to Miami and get Tua as the backup
I
quarterback to
saw that
Jalen.
too.
Are you shitting me? Like that would be the equivalent of like if the Eagles kept Carson Wentz and then decided after that Super Bowl 2 years later they would go, hey, you know what? Let's bring Foles back to be Wentz's backup again.
Yeah.
Like, what are you thinking? Like, just dumb takes that
Not
it's
that
clearly
narrative. Not that
correct.
narrative.
It's clickbait. You know what I mean? That's exactly what it is. It's just for clicks. But
Mhm.
yeah, Max Crosby to the Eagles. Let's make it happen.
I like it. Hashtag bring in Max
There you
or
go. With
something.
two X's.
Like
Two X's.
we could think of something better than that.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
We will.
So we ended the tie streak finally with the competition, which I guess is good for you, not so much for me. I'm so close. Saquon almost got to 100 yards. The defense, I needed one more turnover, but you got it. Jalen Hurts, I thought, and we talked about it, and usually we're like, it could have been this guy, could have been that guy, but I think hands down, Jalen Hurts was the player of the game, and Jalen's the one. Jalen in the defense is what, or no, I'm sorry, not the defense. Jalen and the score is really what got you home. I got
Yeah.
the AJ touchdown was the only other thing I had. So that brings your record to 6-4-4 on the
Mm,
season. Running out of
mm.
time to make a comeback here.
Yeah. Yeah. You got 3 weeks left. So, the best you can do is you need me to lose all three and you need to win all three like Dallas. So good luck with
So
that,
now
buddy.
you're calling
Good
me a
luck.
cowboy.
Kinda. Yeah, kinda.
Did you just call me Dak?
Yes. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Love it.
All right, so the Washington Commanders, a hat and T-shirt game. I like that saying. I just heard that saying recently, and I'm like, I love that saying. It's a hat and
Mhm.
T-shirt game.
Yep.
No
Yep.
Jaden Daniels. Um, Nothing really to play for them. They're starting to get their time cut on Hard Knocks because there's not really anything interesting happening down there. What can we expect from the Commanders this week?
I mean, again, they're
Mm,
an NFL team, right? And I guarantee you a lot of these guys are playing for next year and trying to put some things on film. So, if this was week 17 or 18, I'd probably say, it's not as likely that they're going to play hard. But the fact that it's week 16, I think they're still going to play hard. Mariota, say what you want about him, man. He's turnover prone for sure, but he can still kill you with his legs. So, we'll get into the
yeah,
keys, but like he can still kill you with his legs. He can still pick up yards. And he's not afraid to throw the ball. I just Is McLaurin going to play? Is he not going to play? Like, he seems like he gets banged up every single week. They don't have a tight end right now because Ertz went out. So who knows who their running backs are going to be? And the defense is definitely gettable. The defense is, I think, like the 30th ranked defense in the NFL. They're 29th against the pass, 28th against the rush. Um, so it's lining up for the offense to continue to move, right? I know they're better against the rush at home, which is weird to me. I don't understand that, but it is what it is.
That
One thing
field
that I
is
do,
terrible. I wonder if that has
it is.
anything to do
It
with it.
might. It might be. It might be. One thing that I don't see happening. I think just because it's a division rival, they'll have the spoiler mentality, but I don't see that happening. I think we can easily kind of stomp on their throat and just kind of keep our foot there if we do what we did against the Raiders. But look, if we keep them in it, they do have that spoiler mentality because it is a division rival. So our goal as the Eagles team is to make sure that we don't allow them any breathing room. Right? You got to get up by double digits, two scores, and just kind of keep it there. Because you give
And
them
keep
any
your foot
ounce
on the
of
gas.
exactly, you give them any ounce of life, they got some playmakers. They got some opportunity there. It's not realistic to think it's going to happen, but you got to make sure that you're playing that way and go out and take it. Right, like you said, the division's there for you. It's a hat and t-shirt game. Go out and take it, earn it. Right, just go out and earn it.
So going back to the spoiler thing, though, I feel, how much do you think for the guys that, and which is probably a good portion of the team, the guys that played last year, how much do you think the NFC Championship game plays into that? Because other than last year, this rivalry has been pretty much non-existent since maybe you could say Andy Reid days, but maybe like Ray Rhodes' time. Like it's not really. So how much do you think they're going to use that as motivation? I'm sure Dan Quinn is going to do whatever he can to get them fired up. But like if it was Eagles Cowboys, whichever side was looking, the other team would come flat out and say, "We don't want them to win it on our home field.
Hmm.
We're playing hard," even to the Giants. But like with Washington, it's kind of like, it's. I
Yeah,
think there's going to be like a guy like Frankie Louvu probably is going to
Bobby
want
Wagner.
to,
Yep, yep.
yeah,
They're
those
not.
guys. The
You said it. Nobody wants another team to win the division on their home field, right? So that competitive nature. But were you talking about this Dan Quinn, the only coach in the NFL that wears his hat backwards? Like,
yes,
what are we doing? What is that? Like, show some professionalism. Like, you're a head coach for the love of God. But yeah, I think that's where
I
you're going
used
to
to do
see.
that when I went out in college.
Yeah, but like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, at the end of the day, you're going to get that competitive nature where they don't want somebody to win it on their home court or home field type thing, right? But at the end of the day, talent can only take you, like, competitiveness can only take you so far until the talent has to kick in.
True.
And the Eagles are a better team. They're more talented on both sides of the ball. They're more talented on special teams. So they just need to go out there and do what they need to do, you know?
Should be a big Eagles crowd too, because I can't imagine. I mean, because I'll be honest, I know if the Eagles were 4-10, maybe a cold game week before Christmas, I'm not going to this game. So tickets are up for sale. I'm sure there's going to be, and there usually is a good showing in Washington anyway of Eagles fans. So I'm not saying they're going to make it sound like a home game, but I think there's going to be more green and white there than what you would expect down at whatever
It's
it's called now, not
it's
FedEx,
a
but
it's a 2.5 hour drive, depending on traffic.
I've done it before for a Monday night
Yeah,
game. Like
yeah.
it's
So
not
it's
bad.
not hard. You're right up 95. You know what I mean? So like it's not hard at all. And if Eagles fans travel to LA, I'm pretty damn sure they're going to travel to Washington, where it's right down the street, basically. So it's going to be interesting. And to your point, man, like right now, the Washington fan base doesn't have a lot to get excited about. So it's not like, hey, last 3 weeks of the season we have this rookie quarterback of
Let's see what he
Jaden
can
Daniels.
do.
Let's see what he can do. Give us some hope going into next season. Like they just shut him down. They got Mariota. Like there's nothing there from an exciting
He's not
standpoint. So
moving
to
the needle for me.
no, so like to your point, unless it was a Christmas gift that somebody gave them, I don't see it. I don't see it selling out. So I see it being 60-40 Eagles fans for sure.
Oh, I could see that easily. But hey, let's get it done. So, what do you got for three keys to the game?
So three keys of the game: establish the run game. I think they need to build off the momentum of last week. So whether that's Saquon, whether it's Tank, or whether it's both of them, like I said, the rush defense of Washington is gettable. So they need to do that. And setting up the getting the run game going sets up the pass, obviously. So as I said earlier, 30 plays under center. It's amazing what you can do with that type of versatility, right? So that leads into the second key, and it's keeping the momentum on offense going. Keep mixing up the play calling, keep the defense on their toes. And I want to continue to see the third down efficiency, right? So as I said
Mhm.
earlier, 10 to 13 on third down. If you can continue to put yourself in third and manageable, you're going to win games. You're going to be successful on offense if you can keep the sticks moving, right? And you don't play
Yes,
behind the sticks. It's amazing what can happen. So I think if they can do those two things on offense, it's going to really get them kind of flowing and hopefully get the offense doing what it's supposed to be doing. And then defense, don't let up. Continue to dominate. I know you're playing a backup quarterback and without a tight end, and who knows how their offensive line is. I think their offensive line's banged up, but none of that
yeah,
matters. It's still an NFL team. Continue to dominate, continue to do what you need to do, and I'd like to see them build off of last week. I'm not expecting a shutout, but why not? Try for it.
I'll take it. No, I'll totally take it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my
All
three
right,
keys.
so I like it. My first key is almost word for word the same thing you said. Get Saquon going to open up the pass and continue to get the offense going right. Um, to me, that's why you don't bench Jalen Hurts. So there's a difference. I'm not going to say bench. That's why you don't sit Jalen Hurts this week. Is you want to keep building that momentum and getting everything going. This is a gettable defense this year with all the injuries and everything, and it starts with the run. Get the run going. They're vulnerable on the outside too. So
Mm-hmm.
get the vertical passing game going. Maybe hit Dallas Goddard over the middle a few times, pull those guys in, and then take your deep shots to Devontae and AJ. Then Devontae and AJ, not Jahan Dotson. No offense, Jahan.
Love it.
Defensively, stop the run because I think if that team can do anything and they're going to try to do anything, it's going to be run the ball, whether it's with Mariota, their running backs. Stop the run and then make Marcus Mariota beat you. He will turn the ball over. He will take chances and make him do it. And if he beats you, tip your cap to him. I don't see it happening, but I think that's what you got to do. Take away. So it goes back to what I say every week that uh, Bill Belichick used to say: "Do your job. Don't let him beat you with his legs." And the third one, just stay healthy. I think that field is an absolute mess, but and I know that's it's hard to do, but I think you're set up, like we talked about earlier, you're set up to be in a good spot as far as knowing where your seat is and then being able to kind of do things. So let's get out of there healthy. And if it's a shutout, great. If not, we'll just keep rolling with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Love it. Love it. Look, I,
So,
I I would love to have a shutout. I would love to have a shutout. But, you know, doing that against two teams back to back is going to be kind of tough. But if any defense can do it, I have faith in ours.
well, I mean, that was their first shutout in 8 years, 7 years.
something like that. Yeah,
So it's
2018. Yeah.
it yeah, it's hard to do.
Mhm. Yeah.
But why
Yeah,
not
you
do it
don't see it.
twice? That's
Well, you
what
don't see it much in the NFL anymore, you know?
mm, no.
It doesn't happen often. You see a lot of, like,
No.
field goals and stuff like that, like, 3 points, but, like, you hardly ever see shutouts anymore.
I know, and I always felt I know a shutout's more difficult and it's more embarrassing and disheartening for a team, but it's always something about losing like 28-3. Like, hey, you moved the ball, all you could get was 3 field goals or
Yeah,
3 points,
3
1
points.
field goal.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a shutout, it's like, all right, you just got dominated. 3
Yeah.
points means you actually put some effort in. It just wasn't good. But
Yep. Yep. I
and
agree.
I know that makes no sense whatsoever. But
No, I get it. I get it. Absolutely. Alright, so who's your
and then
fantasy stars?
we going pick first or fantasy
Oh, yeah,
stars?
yeah, we'll do game picks.
So for game pick, I can't bet against them the way they've been playing. I got them. I think they're going to continue to roll on offense. I think the defense takes a quote unquote step back from giving up 0 points, but I got it 34-17 Eagles.
Nice. Okay. Alright. I got the Eagles as well. Again, I think they're gonna build off of last week's momentum on offense, and they're gonna continue to dominate on defense. I got the Eagles 27-6. I don't think they let them in the
I
end zone.
like
I
it.
think they hold them to 2 field goals. Now, I the Eagles' red zone defense has been incredible this year. Conversely, their red zone offense has been also incredible. So, I see both of those things continuing in this game.
No, I like it. I like it. I like a defensive touchdown possibly too, or special teams. But I'm not going to go so far as to pick it. But I wouldn't be surprised if we get an interception return or a fumble return just because of the way Mariota plays.
Yeah, no, I like it. I
That
like it.
being said,
I think that's on the table.
that being said, fantasy star Saquon, 100 total yards. I think you're going to see more of those passes. I don't know why.
Mhm.
We saw some against San Diego. We saw some this past week against the Raiders. I think you're going to see more of that incorporated in. I don't know if he's going to get 100 total yards because I do think there's going to be a little bit of Tank Bigsby in there, but I got him 100 total yards and a touchdown. Um, I think because of the way that Washington's defense is lined up and the what we've seen out of the play call in the past couple weeks, I think they are going to work the middle a little bit early and then get the outsides going. So I got Goddard 80 yards and a touchdown. Most of those yards coming in the first half. And I got AJ and Devontae both going over 65 yards. I think they both are going to eat in this game. And I know that's kind of, hey, I'm down to my last 3 games here. I got to do something. But I think it's very attainable. Like, I think both of them can go 65 yards or more. Maybe both of them have a good chunk play. I don't know.
Like it.
And I do think the defense keeps it rolling. 3 sacks and 2 turnovers again. It's been working for me. But I think you're going to see Brandon Graham might even have a sack, but 3 sacks and 2 turnovers. And I'm going to give you a bonus one. I think we get a Tank Bigsby touchdown. I think
Ooh.
that's the 4th touchdown. I think you get Saquon, you get Dallas, one of the two between AJ and Devontae. And I think we get it. It's a bonus one, but Tank Bigsby with a touchdown this week.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go. I got Hurts with 2 total touchdowns. Um, I think he's gonna have a day. I really do. I think he's gonna have a day. Um, but the reason why I don't think he's gonna have more than 2 touchdowns is because I have Saquon with 75 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think
Ooh.
Saquon gets in the end zone twice, and takes his touchdown total on the season to double digits to 10. I think to your point, I agree with you. I got Dallas Goddard with 50 yards and a touchdown. I think he's going to have a touchdown again, and I think he's going to have 50. So my X factor this week, I'm taking the defense to continue to roll, and they're going to have 5 sacks. I think they're just going to come
Ooh,
out and completely dominate, and they're going to pressure Mariota into making mistakes, holding on to the ball a little too long. I just 5 sacks and a turnover is what I see that defense doing.
I like it. Well, I mean, we've talked about it all year that when they weren't getting sacks, that they come in bunches, and I mean, they've been getting them in bunches the past 2 weeks. So I
Yep.
don't think that's far fetched at all.
And look, my player of the game, Mr. Two Touchdowns. I'm going with Saquon. Saquon's my player of the game.
Oh, I didn't give you my player of the game. My player of the game too is Saquon because of
Okay.
the 100 total yards and a touchdown.
I like it. I like it. It's gonna be
But I
fun,
think that
man.
second
And
touchdown is going to tank. They
yeah,
were
and
trying
I
to
can
get him
see
in
it.
last week.
I can see it. I can see it. I think Saquon breaks one this week. It might not be like a 60 yarder, it might be like a 30 yarder, but I think he breaks one and runs a longer one in. But I think he gets in twice. I really do. And look, to your point, it might be on one of those passes, one of those wheel routes or one of those like little
Yeah.
swing passes, but I can see it. I can see it for sure.
No, I mean,
It's
it's
gonna be good.
awesome to see that. Like, we haven't seen it and we've been calling for it all year. I mean, and it
Yep.
works when you do it.
It's amazing what happens when you get Saquon in space. It's just good things happen. Good things happen. He's a
Love it.
beast.
All right. Where can anybody find you everybody find you this week? Anybody,
Uh,
everybody, somebody.
Anybody and everybody. You can find me on all the socials, Twitter, Instagram, at KyleMott16. You can catch me every week on the Clashing Conferences podcast,
Mhm.
the All Sports Pod. It's a fun banter filled community. We just kind of talk sports, all kinds of sports. Last week we talked about F1 racing. We talked about
Nice.
the World Cup this week and the price gouging that FIFA is going about. It would cost us less to fly to Houston for a game than it would be for us to go to Philadelphia for a game. And you live what 20 minutes from Philly, and I live 45 minutes, but it would cost
I
us
can
that
be at
much.
the stadium in a half hour.
And it would cost you cheaper to buy a plane ticket and a ticket to the game to go to Houston than it would be for you to go to Philly. Ridiculous. So I I think FIFA is going to be changing that, but yeah, that's where you can find me. You can also find me. I do a state of Kentucky report. I'm a Kentucky basketball fan. You can catch me every week with my good friend Cody. We talk all things Kentucky basketball, good and of course this year it's been a lot of bad. So um, we don't shy away from anything. So a lot of
Touche.
that stuff. A lot of that stuff. So where can they find you at, brother?
Every Monday through Friday, this day in Philly sports history, wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. Also a part of the Clashing Conferences Sports Fan Network. Hopefully this winter, once college basketball gets into full gear, I'll be making more appearances. Um, on social media, all platforms at Philly Jimbo. And just a quick message, not going to get too preachy here, but it's not election season. But when you are voting, please, please, please make sure you're doing all of your research and voting on all of the issues, not just the person that you're popular with or you like. Um, give a shout out to all of my fellow cyber employees this week who are either finding out or on the verge or found out that they'll be losing their jobs this week due to the budget cuts enacted by some of those same people that you may have voted for and didn't realize what all you were voting for. So that's my TED talk for the day. But hang in there to all of my fellow colleagues who did find out. Knock on wood, I'm still hanging strong. Um, don't know what the rest of the week is going to bring, but that's just my little TED talk there. That's one to
So
grow
what
on.
he's saying, like and subscribe to our channel, like and subscribe to our podcast every week. We need all the followers we can get because this may have to be our full-time
Yes,
jobs. So help us out. Help us out.
I'm ready.
Share
I'm
us with
ready.
your
I'm
friends.
ready.
Share us with your friends.
Yes, I always tell everybody on my podcast, if you're enjoying this and liking this, somebody, at least one person in your network of people will like us too. So spread the word.
Yeah, and look, I mean, I'm going to throw it out there. I haven't done it in a few weeks because Kelsey's been dealing with the fact that he may have to retire this year and not make the playoffs. But Kelsey brothers, if the oldest one retires, hit us up, man. Let's do a collaboration. We could easily put our heads together and come up with something really good. I mean, you guys have all the marketing. We'll bring all the ideas. It's great. It's great.
And I
Let's
might
do
have
it.
nothing but time on my hands, so
Yeah.
I'm
It's gonna
all
be
in.
it's all in, buddy, all in. And we'll listen to Taylor Swift. We'll drink garage beer. It'll be a great thing. It'll be a great thing.
Perfect. All right, brother. Well, week 16, Commanders, the good old hat and t-shirt game. Let's get it done, birds, this week. And we will be back next week as we look ahead to the Buffalo Bills. And stay tuned for all the Chris Berman quotes you can stand, because sure there will be a lot of them.
There will be a ton. There will be a ton. Go
All
birds.
right. On that note, have a good week, everybody. Go Birds, and let's get that division. And hold off on buying the t-shirt and hats, because something tells me there might be more t-shirts and hats to buy in a few more weeks. So just hold off on it.
Love it.
Or ask Santa.
Love it. Yeah, there you go. Go birds.
All right. On that note, go Birds, everybody.